Coach Tillman will start us off with an opening statement, then we'll open things up for questions. Coach?
Obviously proud of our guys to get a win in the NCAA playoffs. It's never easy. So I'm happy for those guys. It's been a long year, and to get one in May and outside the Big Ten, it felt a little different preparing wise. But to have another week together with these guys, given how much they've sacrificed and how much like fun it's been to be with them. I'm just excited for them. These guys, again, they've put so much into this. So it's just great to have another week, and obviously a lot of work to do. But I want them to enjoy tonight and tomorrow and make sure they get some time to enjoy and appreciate what everybody's done to make this season work. And then back to work against a really, really good team.
Questions?
So, Coach, Justin Shockey wins 19 of 29, I think, something like that. The face-off, and your defense forces 12 turnovers and really shuts down UVM's attack unit until the very end of the game. Can you talk about those two performances?
Yeah, Justin, it didn't start great, but Justin did a great job of kind of working his way through it and just getting better as the game went on. Really proud of him. It's been an up and down year, and he was an absolute pro this week and an absolute pro today. We saw the stats and obviously did a lot of things to prepare. 72%, that doesn't happen by accident. So a lot of respect for Burke in that regard. And, just kind of knew what the game plan would be, right? They win a lot of faceoffs, possessions deep into the clock. And, knowing that, we were going to be, at least in reach, 50-50 or so, that would have been helpful. And to be that much better was huge. We were a little sloppy. I think there might've been some nerves early. We had some silly turnovers in the first half that a little uncharacteristic. And I think the guys worked through, understandably, some guys in their first NCAA game. And I think they did as well. I mean, we had some possessions that, we got some turnovers from them, and it allowed us to kind of get going. And then towards the end of the first, really found a good rhythm. Jared kind of got going, and for a while there, we had a great flow and give them credit. We got out of that flow, but then got back in it again.
Patrick Stevens.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on your 9th quarterfinal in actually 10 years because of the COVID year. And speak to a couple things. Number one, we know that Mike Farrell, a tremendous ex-Terp, had passed away. Your feelings on that, and also your feelings on just the incredible performance of your defense causing so many turnovers.
Yeah, Mike, just like any guy that plays in this program, regardless of, whether they're a world teamer like Mike or, a guy that logged 4 years here, they're all part of our family. They're all really valuable. And Mike was a special guy. And I had met him, obviously didn't spend as much time with him as his teammates. But I know this, in the outpouring of texts and emails and calls we got, just asking, hey, just wanted to make sure you knew, but I wanted to make sure you knew what a great teammate and competitor was and how much he meant to, just his teammates and the teams that he played on. Dougie Schreiber, obviously, a legendary player, and guys like Jeff Long, who I worked for, who was not a Terp, but just so many people that talked about, again, just the great person that he was, and the stuff that you try to mention to the guys, and just realize though that's part of the legacy here, to be around great players and people like that, and again, still to be the best mentality that Bud Beermore started. We're trying to do the same here. So, kind of a tough week, but obviously we wanted to make sure we gave him a shout out, and I appreciate the people at Maryland here doing that. Just that moment of silence before the game. I thought that was great. And then just obviously, getting another chance this week, just you realize the older you get, the fewer of these that you have maybe down the road. So you got to take advantage of these opportunities. And this group has done a good job with that. They've kind of been more focused, I think, than in other years during this week, because this week is a tough academic week, but these guys were really lasered in. We knew how good Vermont was, the dynamic with having two Terps on the other side. And I know a lot of people talked about Jake, but Chris Fifes is a Terp too. So we talked about like the way those guys are wired. A lot of that was be the best that was founded here. So, I give those guys credit. They played to the end. Played tough as you'd expect them to. And I'm happy for those guys, to get in the tournament for the first time. That's a credit to Chris and Jake and the entire staff and those players.
Let's go to Patrick Stevens.
Hey, John, you kind of brought up something I wanted to ask about, which is that this week has been kind of a tough spot for you guys. You've won a fair number of games, obviously, but it hasn't been easy in most years. Did you sense that this was going to be a more methodical type of game for you, that you guys could kind of go do what you did, go from point A to point B to point C, and not really be in any sort of danger here in the second half and beyond?
We really boiled down to Patrick, and you've been around long enough, and we kind of talked to the guys about like the first round. We've had some tough matchups and we've gotten out of the first round, but it hasn't always been easy. We brought up having to go to Carolina in 2011, 2012. It was a close game. We had to come back against Lehigh. We lost in 13. In 14, we had to come back against Cornell. It was a 1-goal game. In 15 against Yale. So there have been some grinders in the first round. And I just, this year we've tried to be very careful of remembering, and Logan Wisnowska said this one time, and I use it a lot. We bring up the past, but we also go, listen, you are a different team, but we're bringing it up just because it's a frame of reference from our experience. And because I said it once early in the year, hey, we lost these guys a couple of years ago, and Logan's like, we're a different team. So, and I appreciated that comment, but I also wanted to just make sure we remember it's for some of the younger guys. Listen, we are different, and we want to make sure that we learn from some of those things. There's nothing wrong with looking back and owning your scars and realizing, hey, this is a potential trap. So just for context in our frame of mind, it's going to be tough. And we didn't know what was going to happen. I think, the face-off thing was going to really make or break the way the game went, Patrick. Like you saw, they got 2 goals with less than 5 seconds on the shot clock. They jammed it inside and scored. If they get 60%, who knows how many possessions we get. And now all of a sudden, this thing is a dogfight and it settles in. So for Justin to kind of work his way through it, which I thought was really impressive. We had 2 violations and we weren't even out of the first quarter yet. So he was very good with 2 violations. And I thought our wing play was really good. Our ability to dig out some grounders and scrap and fight was huge. And so, I think Gep's in here, and Gep did a great job, and Josh Kaufman and Roman and Justin Schur and Ajax and all those guys who take wings. That was huge. So that it allowed us to kind of go, all right, we're not going to get 5 possessions this quarter. Like, we're going to get more than that. So it helped us too, because we had some turnovers. I'd sensed some jitters from a couple guys. So we were just trying to kind of keep them upbeat there, but kept us out of that whole dynamic, which we wanted to avoid.
Jacob Steinberg.
Coach, can you hear me?
I'm good.
Go ahead, Jacob.
So, Coach, you mentioned this week when we spoke how Vermont is a team that likes to be really methodical offensively and kind of work things slow. As Tony mentioned, the 22 turnovers that you guys forced, was it a concerted effort for you guys defensively to try and make them speed up their offense and try and lead to some quick transition opportunities?
There were a couple plans that we had in place. I think one of the things we wanted to make sure we did was try to make them uncomfortable. We felt like if they just sat back and did what they wanted to do, that would play to their advantage. So, we didn't want to be reckless, but we also wanted to make sure we got to hands and we were able to kind of disrupt maybe some of the feeds. I thought the guys did a good job with that early. We knocked down passes. We had a lot of really good ground balls in the open field, especially on the defensive end, whether it was, John Geppert or Matt Rahill, Nick Grill. Like, it just felt like we were good off the ground, and then navigating some pressure. I thought the inbound rode us pretty well, and we were able to find guys and get the ball out. But yeah, I think that was one of the things we want to do, is at least get to hands and have some pressure on them. And maybe that would make things a little bit more challenging for them.
Time for 2 more questions. We'll start with Kevin Brown.
Coach, congrats on another first round win. Can you just touch on your shorties, Roman and Smith today. They both played. Roman had a couple of calls turnovers look like, and Smith was pretty great in transition and just the calling presence of McNaney goal.
Yeah, and I'd throw Josh Kaufman and Chase Cope in there. Those guys have done a really good job for us. Just super reliable. Those guys are pros. They work so hard. It's a luxury for us to have 4 guys we can play that not only, do a good job on the ball, but they do a good job off the ball and also in the clearing and transition game. And, they help you in early offense. So we definitely appreciate those guys. We don't take that for granted.
Last question today, Alex Flum.
Hey, Coach Tillman, you kind of touched on this a little bit in your opening statement, but, just the way this past year has been, how much are you guys sitting here celebrating today? And how much are you guys thinking, okay, we got to turn around now and play Notre Dame at Notre Dame when we're the higher seed and, preparing for that game? How much is it a celebration and how much is it, all right, we got to turn around and get back to work?
Listen, I've been doing this a while. I think it's important that the guys, at least for right now, enjoy the moment. It just, this whole experience goes by fast for them. So I want them to tonight just kind of focus on enjoying the fact that we do get another week. Make sure they appreciate the efforts and the investments and sacrifices of all their teammates have made, which they've done a good job with. And we have so many selfless guys on our team that you may not see them on game day, but they do an awesome job on the scout team, just always trying to prepare. And they may not get acknowledged a lot, but I know they're really valued in our locker room. So, just having tonight to enjoy that, I think is really important. But the time will come, tomorrow we'll be off and then Tuesday we'll get back to work. I don't think I need to say anything to the guys. We played Notre Dame over the last few years. They are terrific, top to bottom, a very complete team. The last time we went out there, we lost a dogfight. So I think, we already obviously, know what's in front of us, and it's a great team and an awesome opportunity. And I think most competitors live for challenges and opportunities like that. So we'll have a lot of preparation ahead. But again, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I really do think it's important these guys enjoy it. We do have some guys with exams and papers to finish up, so we'll let them focus on that. And I think on Tuesday we'll have a pretty focused group. I don't think I'm going to have to say anything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.